I'm about to tell you why Bryson DeChambeau will out-clutch and out-guts and out-heart poor Rory McIlroy tomorrow in what will be an all-time watchable final pairing at the Masters, an all-time great Sunday finish in my favorite sports event on the entire calendar, Masters Sunday. There's no greater pressure in all of sports than the individual sport of golf at Augusta National on the back nine on Sunday, which is why ultimately I believe Rory will beat Rory tomorrow in an all-time watchable, can't take your eyes off, back nine, Sunday at Augusta. I will be watching every shot because I know every shot. This is the only major for you non-golf fans that doesn't rotate. It's always on that course, which I consider the greatest golf course in the world, a piece of heaven on earth. I covered 20 straight Masters. I know every step, every shot. I played the golf course. It was a long time ago, but I played it not well. But I know it, and I know what it can do to a human being on Sunday as the pressure mounts and the wind begins to swirl down on Amen Corner among pine trees that if you haven't been there to experience it, you got to experience Augusta. This is the all-time bucket list sports event. But those pines down at Amen Corner are towering. They're Jack and the Beanstalk pines. The great Ben Crenshaw once told me that Augusta to him is like a mystical cathedral of pressure that I believe will devour Rory McIlroy, the LeBron James of golf. Rory reminds me so much of LeBron. Rory's now 35 and seems like 40-ish in golf years compared to LeBron's 40, year 22 in professional basketball. Rory McIlroy, it feels like, has been playing forever, but he hasn't won a major championship. Think about this, since 2014. We're 11-ish years since he won a major championship. And yeah, he almost always won going away, slaying the field, decapitating the field, if you will, as he did in his first two majors, and dominated the U.S. Open and dominated the Open, as they call the British Open. He now has one left that he has not slain, as he did win his PGA by a ton. He won all those pretty much going away. Won at Valhalla. It wasn't really that close. He needed the lead without pressure. And he has the lead just as he had back in 2011. I know it's been a long time. It's been 14 years ago since the demons seized his soul at Augusta. He was only 21 years of age, was Rory McIlroy. Nice kid who turned into a nice guy, leader of the tour against Liv. I admire him greatly, just as I admire greatly LeBron James off the court. Both LeBron and Rory, very nice guys. Actually too nice to have the killer instinct required to dominate golf the way Jordan dominated basketball and Tiger dominated golf, or for that matter, Jack Nicklaus. He had killer instinct. Maybe not quite Tiger's. I'll give you that Tiger played at a slightly higher level when he was dominating than Jack did, but obviously Jack wound up with 18 majors to Tiger's 15, and Tiger is not going to win another major. But you want to talk about all-time golf, slit-your-throat assassin, that was Tiger Woods. I don't see that. I've never seen that in Rory. Rory McIlroy is supremely gifted as a shot maker. He is still driving the ball the best, just as LeBron is still the greatest driver of the basketball ever, greatest passer ever. Rory is the greatest driver of the golf ball I've ever seen. Consistent driver of the golf ball. I know he got a little loose right today a few times, including 18. But listen, Rory McIlroy is so gifted. Bryson DeChambeau I had on my Skip Bayless one-on-one this week. He did make the point that Rory is so inside out with his swing that, as Brandel says, Augusta is actually a picker's paradise, where if you can pick it and hit high cuts, high fades, the way Brandel can, the way Scotty can. Scotty, I thought after yesterday he was going to win it. I was wrong about that. He just doesn't quite have it. It's always scared me about Scotty that he had to go to that mini claw thing with his right hand putting, so he doesn't really trust his putting. Now, thanks to Brad Faxon, Rory does sort of trust his putting, but you know what happened to Rory? Let's start with 2011. Started the day with a 4-shot lead. Now he's got a 2-shot lead. That day, at age 21, the Saturday evening, he told the media, a 4-shot lead isn't that much on this golf course. How prophetic it was. It was almost like he manifested that himself. It's almost like he let those negative thoughts out of his mouth and they came back to haunt him on Sunday when he got off to a little bit of a shaky start. Today he got off to a rip-roaring Rory start. My God, I never thought I'd see anybody make 5 straight threes to start a Masters round. It's impossible. Trust me, it's just impossible. He obviously had to chip in at 2 for an eagle. And then 3's no gimme birdie. And 4's no gimme par. And 5, I used to think 5 was the hardest hole on the golf course. And now they're hitting it so far. Rory's hitting it so far that he just overpowers it the way Tiger did early in 97, 98-ish, 99, in that range. They had to Tigerize the golf course when, in fact, they should have just made it trickier as opposed to longer. If you make it longer, you just play into the long hitter's hands. But it looked like Rory had it all, except he's inside out. He doesn't pick the ball. He hits more power draws, baby hooks, where he's catching ball first and then taking a divot. And it makes it a little harder for him at Augusta. But at 21, it just looked like he was better than anybody else and the Tiger rival that we didn't have. This is 2011, as Tiger was starting to fade. And you know what happened to Rory? 4-shot lead dwindled to 1 by the turn. And then on 10, he hit a drive as far left as I've ever seen anyone hit it on 10. It's like he was going to Butler Cabin to get his green jacket before he'd actually won it. He went over between 2 other cabins. I think it was the Peak cabin and the Berkman's cabin that his ball came to rest between. There's that classic photo of Rory peering between the trees from between the 2 cabins, trying to see where his ball went after he tried to punch it free of the pines. And he made triple on 10. And then he bogeyed 11, which is an easy bogey, especially on Sunday. Ben Hogan always said, if I hit it on the green on 11, you know I missed my shot, because every shot on Sunday at Augusta especially should be hit to the right of 11. Then you chip down onto the green and you avoid the water. You avoid the pond that's attached to Rays Creek. And Rory bogeyed there, and then he goes to the 12th, which is diabolical with the wind changing directions, whipping. Scotty hit it over the green on Friday, and somehow those azalea bushes behind the green up in the hillside spat it back out, and then he chipped it in, and I thought he'd saved his whole Masters, but no, not to be. And 2011, Rory doubled 12, so he goes triple, single, double, and then he hit his drive on 13 way up into the trees and down into Rays Creek. Ball game over. He shot 80 on Sunday, did Rory McIlroy. That's 8 over par, 80 on Sunday at Augusta National. And I'm just not sure he ever quite got over that there at that golf course. Can he stand up to his demons tomorrow? You know, it's hard not to root for him because he's such a nice guy. He's so LeBron-esque. I like LeBron James. I think he's really a good guy. Maybe not the angel that everybody thinks he's cracked up to be off the court, but still a really nice guy who really wants everybody to love him. Very thin-skinned diva. Rory can be very thin-skinned. He was talking about his elbow issues coming into Augusta. Yep, he wanted the players, but what a great break he got. He falls into a playoff with J.J. Spawn. It's like Tiger when he won that U.S. Open. What was that? 2000, I'm losing track. 8. You know, he winds up in a playoff at Torrey Pines. Of course, he just owns. With Rocco Mediate, you get to play Rocco Mediate on a Monday 18-hole playoff. It still was a barn burner. It was a classic finish, and Tiger had to make another huge putt. He's the greatest clutch putter I ever saw. He is Jordan-esque. Truly, the closest thing to Michael Jordan wasn't really Kobe, it was Tiger. That's the God's truth. Tiger in that stretch in there, that stretch after he won that U.S. Open at Pebble, I was there. Lord have mercy, what was that, 2000? That stretch for Tiger, 2001, 2002. God. He was just, that was the most dominant anybody has ever been in the sport of golf, which is an individual sport. Trust me, it's the hardest game in the world to play. The great and awful thing about golf is it's the one sport in which the ball doesn't move until you move. Tennis, at least you get to react to what's coming back across the net at you. It forces you to react. It takes some of the pressure off because the ball's coming so fast and furiously at you, especially on a serve and volley court like the grass at Wimbledon. You just have to bam, 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 react. There's no time to think. In this, it's all thinking because every shot's a snowflake, especially at Augusta. There's so many different shots. You never get a solid, stable, flat lie. You just don't get them at Augusta. Trust me, you can't see it on TV. Everything is rolling. Your side hill, your uphill, your downhill, side hill, uphill, downhill. And the putts are just funhouse mirrors. They're so fast. And they break so many weird, crazy, inexplicable ways that it is a putting contest in the end, but you have to hit high, soft cuts into these greens to hold them. And they're only getting firmer and faster because tomorrow the weather is going to be perfect, so they're going to get harder and harder. No rain in the forecast that I know of. And it's going to eat Rory alive. I still don't believe in him as a putter, which is why we fast forward. Remember, it's been since 2014. It's been 11 years since you won a major championship. And here he goes again to face his demons at the one he needs to become the first man in 60 years to close out the career Grand Slam, where you win all 4 majors, not obviously in a row, that would be the Grand Slam, but you do it in career. And what's it, only 8 others have done that, but it's been 60 years since it was done. Wow. Okay. So, go, Rory, go. I mean, I don't root against him. I just can't root for him because I don't trust him. I'm sorry. I just don't believe in him. And I'm starting to really believe in Bryson DeChambeau. He is the Jake Paul of golf. He just does it his way, and he's a YouTube sensation. Rory's the patron's choice, the people's choice. They call him patrons at Augusta. But Bryson DeChambeau, he's got cold-blooded killer in him. And what did he do to Rory after Rory missed a little easy, 2 feet, 9-inch putt at Pinehurst in the last U.S. Open? Here came DeChambeau, and he hit a 50-yard bunker shot. It's the hardest shot in golf. Trust me. Just the hardest shot, because you're supposed to take some sand, but you just pick it clean, or do you, what do you do? What if you get too much? What if you blade it? It's just impossible. And he hit a 50-yard bunker shot and then sized up that putt with his scientific approach. He's a wacko. He's a mad scientist, mad genius. I think he's got genius about him. He hits it as far as Rory. This is going to be an all-time driving contest tomorrow. Whew, between these two, They're going to hit balls off the planet, back on the planet, and in the fairway. There's going to be some great driving, and it'll be fascinating to see who wins that driving contest. I think Rory will. I think Rory's a little longer. And Bryson was having trouble today with his distance control of his irons, and that scares me. But the better putter, the better chipper has been Bryson. All week it's been Bryson. He's been phenomenal. He doesn't practice his chipping and putting, which I don't understand, not that much. He's, as we speak, on the driving range hitting 400 more shots. I don't know how he doesn't just wear himself out. But in the end, he showed me he made a bunch of clutch putts. I think he's going to win with the little stick, the flat stick as they call it. You drive for show and you do ultimately putt for dough. Bryson DeChambeau disagreed. He said the stats say, you got to get the ball in position to putt it, and that tells the tale. Maybe so, but in the end, you just got to make big clutch putts, key moments. And I like Bryson, and I loved what he did on 18 because he said, take that. And then in this post-game interview with Amanda on CBS, Roy just doesn't seem confident. I gotta ignore this. I don't want it to be a head-to-head match. I want to stay in my own bubble. And yeah, it's because you're scared to death. You don't want to look that other guy in the eye. It's not Tiger Woods you're looking in the eye, but it is Bryson DeChambeau. I mean, has won a couple of majors, and he knows how, and he knows deep down you're not it. You're not the guy, Rory. So here he's going to come, Jake Paul. He's the influencer, and he's going to influence you to fall apart tomorrow. I just believe it because he ain't going to fold. And I think once you make that turn, maybe you'll still have a shot lead, and then you'll start thinking 2011, Rory, and it's not going to end pretty. Hope I'm wrong about this, but I just don't trust Rory McIlroy tomorrow. I don't trust him on 10, 11, 12, 13. Obviously, Amen corner is 11, 12, and 13. But starting on 10, 10's a hard tee shot. I know he can draw it around the corner, but still, I just think Bryson will wear him down, making clutch chips and putts. That's what I think is going to happen. It wouldn't shock me if somebody came out of nowhere and tracked one of them down, but Scotty would have to shoot 64, maybe 63 to get in this thing. And I don't see that. He just doesn't have it this week. He's just not confident in any phase of his game. So I think it will come down to these two. I don't think Corey Connor's going to get in the middle of this. It's too bad that Rory didn't get to play another day with Corey Connors. He's won 2 tournaments playing a final round with Corey. He loves him. They trust each other. They believe in each other. They're extremely comfortable with each other. They both play fast, and they don't mess around. And Bryson is enough of a showman. He'll mess around and mess with Rory's mind. I like Jake Paul over LeBron James tomorrow. I'm sorry, but I'm rooting for Jake in this one. Go Bryson, go.